Okay. We're live now, I think. Let's get everything rocking and rolling here. Let me kind of straighten up just a hair here. Hopefully I can get some people in here and we'll get started. And I hope everybody's having a good, like I said, Groundhog Day. Hey, Jersey Trucker. Hey, Ponca, how are you? Yeah, I'm out here at the Napa store. I didn't know if you could see me or not, guys. I have my camouflage on. Me. Well, at least I hope you can. I hope everybody's having a good Groundhog Day. They say it's going to be a short spring. I said, let's see, what is it now? Is it Poxitana? I can't even say it this morning. The ground saw his shadow, or he didn't see it. One or the other. Whichever one says it's going to be an early spring, they said it's going to be an early spring. How are you this morning? You looking pretty good out there? I've been watching your calves and everything as you're working with your calves. I'm trying to get situated up here so I can have the best. Is the signal coming through good, guys? I want to make sure that I've got good sound and I've got good visibility. The visibility is the sound not good? I can't. But do I need to change the microphone? Good signal. Okay. All right. I just want to make sure I got a good signal and that the sound's good and everything. Okay. All good. Okay, great. Chris says it's all good. It's all good. That's the main thing. I just want to make sure it's all good. Good. William, I'm glad to see you in here. Yeah, we're trying to get everything rocking and rolling. It was a little bit frosty this morning. I had to kind of defrost the car a little bit. I wasn't expecting that when I got up, but it was a little bit. It was kind of hazed over pretty good. But hopefully our day will go pretty good. Super Bowl day, Groundhog Day, a lot of events going on today. I'm going to be pulling for Kansas City. I don't know. They haven't won a Super Bowl in 50 years, so I'm kind of pulling for Kansas City. And plus, we have a local celebrity that played on the very first Super Bowl and lives out in Kansas City, Bobby Bell. He has a restaurant out there, has a barbecue joint out there, and I'm kind of got to want to pull for him. Okay, that's good. Well, I hope you're pretty excited. Oh, that you don't have to watch it. Okay. Yeah. I'm not a huge pro football fan. I watch the Super Bowl. I quit watching them on a weekly basis several years ago. I kind of got turned off by it, all the political crap that they were doing, and it aggravates you when you got people that are making millions and millions of dollars and they squander through a lot of it, and then they want to tell you how to live your life. So that turned me off as a viewer of pro football. I still like college football a little bit, but I'm not a big pro football fan. And once you go to some of these, I tell you, I took my daughter. We went down to see a Panthers game a few years ago, and I really was not impressed with that. The crowd and everything else that was going on, I just really didn't like it. College atmosphere is a little bit better than that, a little more contained, I guess you said. It was a little bit wilder than I like. I mean, beer drinking, slinging this. I mean, I don't know, just a little different idea. Hello, Mr. Galileo. Is it Galero? Galero TV. Okay, glad to see you in here. I've got a lot of new viewers and everything. I'm trying to grow the channel. I'm getting a lot of new people in here, and hopefully they'll like our channel and come back and visit and discuss things with us. I've been able to, the channel has grown pretty good in the last few days because I've been on some live interviews myself, and that has kind of created a little bit of more viewership. More people are seeing what I'm about, I guess. I went on 2 different ones that were live. I was interviewed by RVT on one, and the other one, CP Tool Addict. I joined in and did the discussion on that, and both of those were really good, informative. Oh, you're from the Philippines. Okay, well, great. Okay, well, great. I'm glad you were able to jump in here and see us. We'll take them for all over the world. That's the great thing about a live stream like this, and if it picks up all over the world, and you're able to see us and discuss things with us, and I'm very intrigued and glad to see that. Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying, JC. That's the way I am with the football guys too. They're one dimensional. They're not multifaceted, and they don't do as many things. A lot of them don't. I won't disparage all of them because there's probably some with diversity that knows how to do other things. But I like to be able to see people do things. I like to make one engine and that kind of stuff, like JC's doing. I saw him. He got him another International and pulled the head off of that. That one had the ISX engine. Or was it ISX? I can't remember which side. Anyway, he was pulling the heads off of the that engine, and now he's got 5 or 6 heads, and they're going to take them to the machine shop, come out with a good head, hopefully be able to get that truck back together. Exactly, JC. I mean, they go through it quickly, and if the average person that has to actually get out here and struggle had that much money to do it wisely, then you could see some production out of it. The problem is they've got so much, so quick that it's really detrimental to them, sustaining it, and it's not a racial thing either, because there's just as many white and black players that are doing the same thing. I mean, it's not a racial divide as much as it is just a too much, too quick, too easy. Anytime I think something's too easy, I mean, that's like lottery winners too. Lottery winners usually are broke within just a few years because they blow through everything they get. Because they think it's a perpetual, that it's always going to be there, and they go spin. And it's hard for people that have, like I said, easy come, easy go, and that's what happens with them. And you've got to be able to feel the worth of your money. You got it. Not to say I would love to win the lottery myself, but I would sit back and be very casual about it. I wouldn't be going off and showing my bling and different things like that. And well, I'm getting notifications here. I hope the old computer's making its noises. Let me mute the sound on the computer so I don't have all these notification noises. But you've got to be able to be smart with your money and not blow through it. And unfortunately that's what you see. And then people even perpetuate the wealth too. I mean, what is it? HGTV is produced a show, My Lottery Dream House, and they go out and they try to show these people wasting their money on a dream house. And you need to be happy with what you have, and then gradually build up to a certain level. These people that all of a sudden they get a wealth, and they say, oh gosh, I'm gonna go buy me a brand new home, and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and before you know it, it's gone. because you got to remember that it's not sustainable. All you're doing is pulling from the pile. And the quicker you pull from the pile, the easier it is to leave. And you need to make into an investment. But so many of them don't. So many of them don't. It's a crazy world out there. I would like to have the opportunity to win that much money, but I doubt I will. I mean, most of us won't. Most of us won't be able to make it. But I will say this: I buy lottery tickets too. I like to wish upon a star, you might say, and because there's one thing for certain, I've never heard of a lottery winner say, dadgum, I won that lottery and I don't even know how I did it. I didn't even own a ticket. So everybody owns a ticket. They've all bought them. uh, yeah. Well, and some people do that. Some people, I think, do it wisely. The lady that won the huge lottery in South Carolina, she, fortunately for her, uh, you can be anonymous in South Carolina, and that's what you'd want to be. You would want to be anonymous. You wouldn't want to be uh, known by everybody out there that you have that money, because first thing will happen, you'll have every charity, you'll have every Tom, Dick, and Harry, every cousin and every friend that you ever thought that you were even closely related to would be knocking on your door. Uh, there, it doesn't take long for people to really go through things like that. And what you want to do would be to, like I say, you want to look at that and say that's a windfall. First off, you're going to pay all those taxes. Secondly, how much can you retain? Because it's not going to be there forever. So, I mean, that's like if Social Security could be, if they could give you every bit that they owe you all at one time, I guarantee that 99% of the people would blow through that and it would be gone, and they would be broke again. So it's learning to be sustainable. I mean, it's just like my business. I mean, I can't make have a big windfall of a sale or anything on it and then say, well, gosh, I got $20,000 in the bank. I'll go spend a bunch of that. No, you don't do that. Unless it's a reinvestment of what you actually need to make more money, then you don't need to go spend it. But too many people, they'll do that. They'll get out there and they'll have a little bit of a windfall, and their profit looks like it's gone up, and they'll go out there and buy a bunch of tools, or if it's men, I guess, or it's jewelry, maybe if it's women, I don't know, whatever your vice is. And then once you do that, then it's you can go through it real quick, real quick. Yeah. Uh, you know, I heard from a guy that was a millionaire one time. He was really well off, and he said he always lived like he was on his last dime. He didn't try to go out there and spend foolishly just because he knew he had it in the bank. And by doing that, he was able to keep money too. I mean, you'll see a lot of guys, like I said, especially the guys that get a windfall, and you'll see people if say if their mom and dad pass on and they get a big inheritance, they'll or an insurance settlement. That's another thing. You'll see people out there with insurance settlements sometimes that blow through that in a heartbeat. And that insurance settlement is there to take them through the duration. I know of a boy that he got about 75,000. He had a workman's comp insurance claim, and first thing he did, he went out and blew it on a big portion of it on a brand new pickup truck. Well, they won about half of it, and then his wife wanted this and that, and then within 6 months or less, he had blown through that $75,000. And then he was looking for a job. And unfortunately for him, he found out real quick he was not hireable anymore because he had taken that large workman's comp settlement. And it took him forever to get a decent job again because, you know, he was not able. I mean, people were turning him down right and left because of his workman's comp claim. So people have got to look at all these uh, different situations like that and not screw their life up by being too greedy, you might say. Yeah, yeah. I would like to see, like Walter was saying, I would like to see a little bit more accountability of what that lottery money goes to. I mean, they call it an education lottery down here too. And hey, Philip, how are you? Glad to see you in here. But they call it an education lottery, and I don't know if it actually that much of the school system actually gets it back because I mean it's a sizable amount that goes back to each state, and and especially if they have a lottery winner in that state, then the state is actually that particular state gets a ton of money. So it's unusual, and I'd like to see it how much more accountable it is, and give us the books. I guess it could be looked up and seen online, but it's not published real. Uh, I don't think it's easily published. Let me say that it's not readily published. It's not front page published, but I would like to see it and see where it goes. But that's the way the government works. It's all about them. It's not about us. Yeah, that's what I was talking about, Chris. You anytime there's an insurance settlement, and we buried my mother a little over a year ago, and we were talking to the guy that runs the funeral home, and he said you would be surprised how many family fights he's had to break up at his funeral home because of the fact that families would come to the funeral home and they'd be going over the will or different who's going to pay for different things, and a fight would break out because somebody thought, well, you're cheating me and I'm not getting this and whatever. And if they were trying to find out who's doing what and arguing over their loved ones assets and who's going to pay for the funeral. He said it was amazing for the average person. If you actually saw that, you would be amazed how greedy uh, the grieving process is on that. I mean, more people are worried, or not more, but a lot of people are worried more about that. Thank goodness my mother and my dad, they were very good with us boys. They actually dispersed and divided up after my dad left, and they had it planned after dad passed away that my mother was to go ahead and divide up certain assets, and she moved everything over into our names way before she passed away. And of course, we were to keep mom up, which we did. And mom lived about gosh 20 something years after dad passed on. 20 almost 20. So well, she passed away a little over a year ago. So yeah, almost 27, 28 years. And we took care of mom. And when mom passed away, we didn't have to divide anything. Everything was taken care of. Every bill was paid. The service was taken. All four of us boys were very cordial with each other too. I mean, nobody was bickering with anybody on anything. There was no assets to divide, and I was very proud of our family for doing that because that's the way mom and dad wanted it. And it's amazing, like I said, with a windfall of an insurance settlement or something like that, that so many people are really fighting each other. Hey, Ralph, how are you this morning? Yeah, yeah. Uh, it's uh, it's a good frosty morning down here in North Carolina. Like I said a while ago, I had to get off and uh, kind of defrost the car a little bit and throw a little uh, windshield washer fluid on it and a few things like that to get it cleaned off. It was frostier than I thought this morning. Like I said, I can't complain though. We're supposed to start getting into the 60s again this week. So we're getting maybe an early spring. I would like to see that. I don't want to. We've had just a very mild winter down here this year, so I'd like to keep it that way. We had snow Friday actually. We actually had snow down here in North Carolina, and of course it's the kind of snow I like. It came down. It was real pretty, great big flakes, and it was gone within 30 minutes after it quit. So that's the kind of snowstorm I like. We didn't even get it dusted. It covered the grass just for a little bit, and then it was gone. So that's the kind of uh, snowstorm that I like. I don't want to. I don't want to have one of those where it's knee deep, knee deep to JC there. JC's had to fight a little bit of snow this winter. I haven't. I've seen him out and about in a little bit of snow. I don't think it's been too awfully bad in Ohio either, has it? And I know Chris. I've seen Chris out feeding his cows in the snow. So it's one of those things. I had to promote Chris's channel too. For all you guys, the new guys that have come on my channel, go over and check out Outcast Projects there. I've kind of pointed at that, and he's growing his channel like I'm trying to grow mine. We're neck and neck. Me and Chris are like two people running a marathon. We're trying to boost our channel up. So all the new people that have signed on to my channel, go check out Chris's channel too, Outcast Projects. He's a good man, and he's out in Kansas, and he's working to build a farm and a business, and he'll take you a ride in a 56 Ford with no floorboard and no back window. And what else, Chris? I can't remember. He's got a Fred Flintstone 56 Ford that he's out scaring people. And he scared me the other day. I was watching him go along, and here comes a car down the road that he's going. He gets over a little bit, and he about loses it in the snowy thing. I heard those wheels break traction. I said, "Oh gosh, that's all he needs to do is film a crash here." Yeah, no brakes too. Yeah, that's what I said. But it has no floorboard, so he's got a Fred Flintstone brakes. uh, that's the way it goes. But I'm I'm glad for everybody that's signing on to the channel and everything right now, and I appreciate every single new person that like there's Don up here. I haven't got to chat with Don. I'm glad to see you on here this morning, and I've had the opportunity, like I said, to go on a couple of different other podcasts, and I'm getting a few more viewers, and I'm very happy for that. And I like to kind of share in the wealth of that, and that's why I was telling y'all to go check out Chris. He and I are neck and neck. He's passed me a lot. Oh, man, a couple times, but he's got a great channel, and everybody check him. Now, JC's got a pretty good sized channel. JC is the type guy that, and everybody needs to check out him too. JC's got a great channel, and very, very informative, and very knowledgeable person that can teach you a lot. And that's what I try to align myself when I'm on these podcasts. Is I like to speak and find other people out here across the United States and the world that are very knowledgeable and that can bring something back to me, because to me, I'm having more fun meeting the different people on YouTube and everything. And I would like to expand that. I'd like to see more people and talk to more people. and be friendly with people. I like to have a good, clean podcast or video cast or vlog that's got a lot of names, basically YouTube, uh, and see how I can grow this channel. Thoroughly enjoy it. I've been doing this for about I guess a year and a half, or almost coming close to 2 years, and or better. And I enjoy it. I enjoy it. I enjoy the camaraderie, and I've actually got to meet a few of the people out here face to face, which is great too. JC came down to see me last year and bought a truck from me, and uh, got to meet him, and I got to meet. Gosh, what's the boys from South Carolina? I can't think of his name now, JC. Uh, the boy from South Carolina too that always has a is he came up, and JC had sold him a truck, and so they were working that out too. But I enjoy that. Like I said, it's very. We've had a very educational time, a very good educational time, and meeting good and interesting people. Yeah, Chucky, that's who I was trying to think of. Your buddy Chuck. Uh, Rick James's buddy. Hey, Everyday Fleet. Now, Everyday Fleet has got a good channel too now, and he and I were on the tool channel with CP Tool Addict the other night, and it's very informative. Everybody needs to check out Everyday Fleet Tech too. Another person that's growing his channel, and we both are kind of growing up at the same level and everything. And it's good to meet him. Everyday Fleet Tech works for one of the major airlines. Which one is it? In Atlanta, Georgia. He's a mechanic for it, one of the airlines in Atlanta, Georgia. And you know, finding out intricate things from people like that is very educational. So it's okay. So your family lives in Oak Island. Okay, that's good. Oh yeah, the drive shaft. Well, I'll explain what happened on the drive shaft, Jersey. Uh, I the best we can tell, because when we got down there, we saw the boy was hooked to a converter dolly. What he had done, the converter dollies that we use at FedEx, of course, they've got the long neck with them, and he had twisted the converter dolly around and got up against the frame of the rear of the truck and wanted to kind of move it, I think, to straighten it out. And he popped the clutch. And when he popped the clutch, that dolly was not, or converter dolly was not going anywhere. So what it did, it snapped the drive line, both ends, not one end. I mean, he did a hard snap, because you won't break those. He broke the joint too. Did he break the joint? I'm trying to think. Larry said he ruined the drive shaft. So it's crazy, and it's going to cost me probably $1,000. Of course, like Chris said, yeah, I've got drive shafts in the boneyard probably I can use, and that's a good thing of having a boneyard. But still, you know, if I have to take it out of a unit that I need to replace it in, I'm gonna be out the money. But hopefully, I might find another drive shaft that I can use without too much trouble. But it was just pure idiocy. I'm afraid to say that. I mean, you can look at it. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what he did, and you know, no cost out of them. Now, you know, the driver is sort of like, well, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, but I just, you know, you just cost me $1,000 probably. And had I tried to take something out of somebody's check, now they'd quit. They'd jump up and down bloody murder. But it's no skin off their teeth that they cost me $1,000 or more. I don't know. We haven't even priced it yet, but he messed up that drive shaft and the yokes too. I think I hope it didn't hurt the yoke off the rear and the transmission. We'll see. But that's what you get sometimes. Yeah, he would put he'd put it in reverse and pop the clutch, and then called us and says the truck won't go in gear. Yeah, the truck will go in gear real good. It just you know, you just don't pop a clutch like that. Yeah, that's yeah, it's not a good thing. It's not a good thing when you get people that just no common sense and really, I guess, no common like I said, it's no skin off their teeth, so they don't care. And once you own a business like that and you've got these type of employees, I mean, you kind of have to filter those employees out eventually because they're they did it that time, and this is not the first incident of lack of common sense on this driver. So you know, I'm not real happy with him at this point. I'll tell you that because it cost me money there, and it could get into being a safety issue too. He could cost me in a safety way too, and those things get to be even more costly too if you have an accident out on the road. I mean, fortunately, this was a yard incident. He didn't tear up any equipment for FedEx, and he didn't bump anything. He didn't have an accident, but it just cost me a lot of money, and that's what that's what you get into. No, I didn't take him on a walk, Ponca. I saw that. No, I'm too old for that. I have to. My discipline has to go through the mouth. I might have to say a few choice words, and actually, I had my partner Landon, who does have the arm strength. I had him to talk to him, and Landon gave him a little chewing, but it wasn't a I wasn't a happy camper yesterday to see that happen. I mean, when things happen with equipment, it's one thing. I mean, things will happen. I mean, you're going to break things. Things will, fail. But when it's something like that fails, it's very upsetting. Hey, Kevin, how are you this morning? Glad to see you in here too. But that that's what's really aggravating is when you get uh, somebody that just has no respect for your equipment and they're out there doing a job and they don't if I were to set him down and say, well, we're just going to let you not drive until that truck is fixed, and then we just take our time getting that truck fixed, then he would be upset. And that's probably what I should do, but I won't. I'll just have to put him in another truck because first off, I don't have my brother is actually out right now, so he's out with a broken wrist, and I don't have the luxury of being able to do that right now. But that's something that you wish you could do because they need to be reprimanded in some way. Uh, and when I worked for a big company like Carolina Freight, now they would do that. They would do that very thing. They would write you up, and you would get laid off. I know I was a yard switcher, and it was sort of crazy. I mean, if we tore a door off, I mean, if we were pulling the trailer out and one of the doors swung loose, they would hold us responsible. We would be written up, and if you get, I think if you got like two or three of those, you'd be laid off. So you had to minimize any kind of accident like that, and it was cut and dry with them. And boy, you were nervous about that. So their point was you go back there and you check those doors before you pull it out. And a lot of times it would be the situation, and which really irritated me. They had potholes in the yard, and you'd be pulling them out. The chains would be attached, and it hit that pothole and kind of twist the rear of the trailer and pop that chain loose, and boom, it hit the side of another trailer. The door's gone. I had that to happen a couple times, and it was very disheartening to know that you did everything that you thought you should be able to do to secure that door, but you got written up anyway. So it's tough. Yeah, yeah, that's what we're talking about, JC. I wish I had the luxury to do that. You know, it, I'm in a situation where it would penalize us now, and FedEx penalizes us if we don't maintain that run. So I can't really take him off that run or anybody out of the run. Had I had some extra drivers that could take his place, then I very well could do that. And I may very well do that next week. I have a spare driver, and I may say, well, we're going to let you have that day off. You tore up that tractor. We're going to let you have that day off, and I very well may do that next week. I'm going to have to discuss that with Landon and see what our options are, because I'm not too happy with him at all. Not too happy at all. Yeah. You're on 40 eastbound in Tulsa, headed to the Bronx. Ooh, I don't envy you going to the Bronx. Yeah. Well, you be safe out there, Kevin. Yeah. So you're in Tulsa, Oklahoma right now. Well, you're not too far from Chris Outcast Projects and Ponca in here. Ponca is in Oklahoma. So you're going out there near them right now. Yeah, well, that's the way it goes. I'm trying to catch up on my reading here, guys. Yeah, and that's basically what we need to do. That gentleman is tell him to reevaluate his skill level. And I mean, what upsets me, it's not the first time he's cost us money. That this is about the second or third time he's done some foolish things that has cost us a considerable amount of money. Yeah, and we'll do that, and I will do that, Ponca. I will try to figure out a way. Kevin, I need to make you a moderator too. I'm gonna go in here and add you as a moderator. I see you in your good bit. Get you a blue tool. I like seeing the blue tools on there, so when I see you pop back in, I can see the guys that are. Uh, well, just go ahead and listen, and yeah, don't do anything foolish and watch us. Uh, I'll try to run my trap enough that you can listen to it, Kevin, and I'll be discussing the things what everybody else is saying, trying to kind of keep the show into a level playing field there, so everybody can kind of understand what's going on. Yeah, I'll tell you what, you know, like Chris was saying, fortunately for me, I've got a boneyard, and fortunately or unfortunately, you don't like to see your boneyard get larger, because that means you're taking trucks out of service. Well, uh, we have we try to hire experienced drivers for one thing, Jersey, and I'm gonna put you on as a moderator too here. I need to change your status in here, because yeah, he's a moderator. And did I do Kevin's right? Let me see if I no, I got him in there. Okay. And we tried to hire experienced drivers. They've got to have at least 1 year's experience as an over the road trucker. And then after they're there, we actually let them hey, Kevin, I need to get let me grab him too. Kevin's been in here a good bit. The guys that are in here a good bit, I like to put them in as a moderator, and then that way if somebody goofy jumps in here and starts putting stuff in, like I think we had one last week and JC knocked him out real quick, because I don't watch that as much as I like to just chat. But yeah, we try to have a good, knowledgeable, working uh, truck driver to begin with, and then we put them through we let them ride with our drivers for a few days. And of course, I'm not a huge business, so I can't just spend tons and tons of time on different incidents and everything. But um, we try to train and retrain, and we have safety meetings, and we go over things and watch videos, and it's hard. It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing to, even with the big companies, to train people the appropriate way, because a lot of times it's right here. It's their mindset. So if the person doesn't have the right attitude, and one thing, and I do talk to my guys about attitude. I keep telling them, and this is one of the things that I tell them in the safety meetings, and even when we have the big corporate safety meetings for us, is I don't like my guys to ever feel like they're rushed. And if you have a driver that feels like he's late, he's going to cause you a lot of problems. And I tell my drivers, you're never late, because dispatch, when they finally give you your paperwork, that's when your day starts right there. I mean, you actually have started a little prior to that as far as hooking up and everything. But if they've helped you, don't let that be the defining moment. You're not going to make up that time. You're not going to speed that truck up. You're not going to rush through there and get through that day's work any quicker by trying to foolishly speed through something on the road. So I want them to be relaxed on the road, and that's what I try to do. Good morning, Shoestring. How are you? Yeah, I'm glad. Now, Shoestring is a FedEx freight driver. He's out of Greenville, Rocky Mount area. I talked to him last night. I was chatting with him on online. I'm gonna put him as a moderator too. I've added a few moderators in here, guys that I feel like I can trust and that'll be in and out of here. Yeah, like I said, I'm getting a lot of new people in this week. I'm real proud that we've grown the channel, and I appreciate every new person that signed up to my channel and wants to jump in and chat with us. You know, we've got a diverse group of people in here. We got people, like I said, mechanics, truck drivers, people that are, you know, contractors that work for themselves, all kind of different. Well, I will say this: we have the backbone of the USA in here, and in my opinion, we got the people that work with their hands, work with ease, not submit. I don't know how many intellects that I have on the channel, but I do. I would say 90% of the people that sign on to the channel are the people that work with their hands. And hey, Greg, how are you? And I'm very happy that we do, because to me that's the heart of America, is a person. I like to have. I know a lot of you guys have probably seen Mike Rowe, which I think is a great. He out of any TV celebrity type person, he's got some of the best attitude, and plus he has scholarships out there for people that are going to trade school and different things like that. Very knowledgeable person. He's got it. He's got it together, and he's seen a lot of America. He has actually done firsthand what we're talking about. He's seen the people that works in the sewer plant. He's seen the guy that works at the water plant, the guy that does construction, the guys that works in the mines, the guy, you know, every aspect that you can think of. And I really like that. And I like that aspect of it. And on this channel, I feel like we're doing a lot of that too. You know, all of us are educated and knowledgeable in different aspects of our life. And I am so tickled to be able to meet each and every one of these guys that are on the channel with us and chat with them and let them express what they're doing and what they feel like. And oh, I might set up. I'm getting too comfortable in my chair there. And you know, that really makes me feel good. I'm always I'm really enjoying the channel as it grows, and I try to have a clean channel. So hopefully you guys, you won't hear me cussing and fussing. I mean, anybody can sign on the TV and everything else and hear all that. So I try to be a clean person in that respect. Not to say that I'm so above anybody else that I've never said words like that. I do, and And my drivers will tell you, I've said a few choice words when situations are bad. Uh, so, but I don't feel like I need to display that on the channel. And that's like I was telling somebody the other night. I go back to what my mother used to tell me when I was a young boy. She says, anytime you start using profanity, you lower your IQ about 10 points. And basically, she's looking at me and saying, Mike, and you don't have that much to spare. So she didn't say that, but I always kind of took it that way. Mom was pretty good about things like that, kind of putting it into perspective and letting you know that you're not going to come off very smart sounding if you start every other word be profane. Now, some guys do it, and if they do it, that's fine. I'm not going to fault them for that. But I hope on my channel that we have here that you'll feel comfortable coming in here. And if you're listening to the channel, that if your wife's sitting next to you listening to it, I won't be saying anything that would embarrass you to hear it being said. And that's kind of the way I look at it. And I have some of the channels that I listen to, and I have some of the guys, and they'll like to let one rip every once in a while. And I just have to either wear my headphones or turn it down. My wife will give me the evil eye, so I don't want to ever present myself as you having to give your I don't want your wife, especially like JC. He's got that pretty little wife, Miss Brenda, and I don't want to say anything to upset her. I know she's a sweet girl and she doesn't want to hear it. I know that, and that's generally the way I kind of look at it. I look at it like, well, I don't know who's going to be listening to me, so I don't want to, project a bad image. Yeah, bless your heart. That's right. Bless your heart. That's a good old Southern way of doing it to you. If they want to put you down, yeah, bless his heart. Yeah, bless his heart because he is a dummy. Or he's done something crazy. Yeah, that's the way. Yeah, that's worse than a cuss word in some ways. That's a sweet cuss word. Is bless your heart or bless his heart. Yeah, you have to. If you've heard it used in the right expression and everything, and I've heard that a lot down here in the South. And of course you hear it everywhere, but I guess it seems to me to be more prevalent here in the South. And there's some of those Southern expressions that are pretty neat, I think. And I'm glad to be a part of the South. And I hope people don't get upset with my accent. I don't think I have one, but I had a friend. I was in a conference. This has been years ago. I was in a software conference. Believe it or not, then I'm gonna show my intellect now. I guess I was in a software conference in Utah. Oh gosh, it's been about 30 years ago. And the young man was there, and he was talking with me, and we'd been in a couple of meetings and everything together, and we were going out to eat, and he and I and a couple other people were in a car going to a restaurant. And he said, Mike, he said, I'd like to tell you something. I said, well, go ahead. And he says, you remind me of a movie star. I said, oh, okay, that's good. That's cool. I was young. I'm thinking, this back, I'm in my 30s, late 30s, early 40s. I think, okay, well, what does he think? He said, my son and I watch a cartoon every Saturday morning. It's got Foghorn the Leghorn on it. And said, and you remind me of Foghorn the Leghorn. So I said, oh, yeah, okay. I guess that's a compliment in a way. So I sound like a Southern rooster. So that's the way to look at it. So I guess when you hear me, I'm a Southern rooster. But guys, let me tell you about something. My wife wanted me to mention this. My wife and I are going out to Las Vegas in April 6th through the 9th, I believe it is. And unfortunately, we had bought an extra package for my son and my daughter-in-law to go out there with us. Now, my son and daughter-in-law can't go. and I have got to sell a package that goes to Las Vegas. It's going to be one of the fancy hotels. I can't even remember which one it is. And we got Keith Urban. We got a Keith Urban concert that's out there, and the ACM Awards are out there the day before. So my wife and I are actually going to be out there that day too. But I've got to sell two tickets to this Vegas vacation. Now there's no airfare or anything like that, but we paid good money through our store, and now I need to sell it. So if anybody, I don't know if anybody wants to go to Las Vegas in April, but if you do, contact me, let me know. I've got to set this up by actually tomorrow. I've got to have somebody register. I don't know if they'll let me change the registration or whatever, but I'm supposed to have it registered by tomorrow. And unfortunately, my son can't take me up on it. So I'm kind of out of a good bit of money there. And I'll be glad to give somebody a real good deal on a Vegas vacation if they want it. And you can even go to the conferences we got with Napa. And they got a bunch of, a bunch of things to go to as far as vendors and everything else. So if anybody's interested, give me a buzz, give me an email, check with me, and I'll be glad to get you a good deal on a good vacation. JC, you need to take Brenda out there. And or Chris, you're not too far away. You could drive out there. So, if anybody wants a good vacation for about all the expenses paid, well, I'm trying to sell it, so it wouldn't be you'd be paying for it. I'm trying to recoup some of my money. I paid about $2,000 for it, for what it was. So but it's supposed to be a pretty good thing. So if anybody's interested, I told my wife I would throw that out there this morning. She said, throw it out there. Maybe somebody's interested. I said, okay, I'll do that. Don't know if they are or aren't, and I'm not trying to pressure anybody. But it would be nice if I could sell it, at least get some of my money back. But that's the way it is. Yeah, I know. I knew JC was going to say that. Yeah. Well, Vegas is going to, it's for me, I'm going out there for the Napa end of it. And there's a lot of vendors out there I'm wanting to connect with. And, as far as buying and selling different things, there's a lot of distribution vendors and things like that. So if you're into the automotive end of it, you would probably be interested. If you're not, then you won't, because that's what it's going to be. Well, that's the way it is. I'm not, like I said, I'm just throwing it out there. If anybody's remotely interested, contact me. I'll make you a great deal on it. And then we can, get something going. Well, guys, as you can tell, my Foghorn Leghorn's voice is about to leave him. So I'm going to have to get out of here. And I've enjoyed it this morning. I've enjoyed the new guys getting in here. And y'all come back, because we'll be doing this every Sunday morning. And we got a lot of guys that are very knowledgeable, and they can see their channels and join their channels too, because I think you'll get a wealth of information out there. So y'all take care, and I'm going to get out of here and try to have a good day and go watch the Super Bowl later on the day. Not really interested big time about it, but at least it's the big day. I'll go watch it about 6:30. So y'all take care. I'll see you around.